Tripping. My bad, y'all. There's people in there waiting too. What's today? The 13th, right?
Yep.
All right, we see. Big fingers. Okay, we see interview straight. All right, we ready. So,
All right.
Big news. Are you starting to feel played, Jake?
That was weird because I actually had a little bit of a positive update yesterday. Just seeing that. So I'm sure his tweet had nothing to do with the fight. They got a good laugh out of that, and I got at least a dozen DMs on it.
Yeah, you said you got a positive update yesterday. Can you share?
Somewhat. Yeah, that it's look. Let's just get this out of the way right at the top of the show. Talks are still ongoing. They're not dead, but they're not done.
I got sort of a positive update.
Yeah. I have not heard that the talks have gone in the wrong direction.
My bad. Oh yeah, I had a sort of a positive update.
Okay.
Yesterday also, but it seems that maybe I'm getting played.
Maybe we all. I don't know, but yeah.
I heard other people say it too. I guess they're putting it on the IG or whatever, but it seems as though training camp has started for Bud.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. Maybe he's getting ready for the Mean Machine rematch.
I don't know. I mean, like I said, Jake Paul did say he had a big announcement.
Right. I will get the news on that, and I will be in Orlando for his own show.
Oh, that's
I'm not going for that. I would just happen to be in Orlando for Memorial Day weekend, so I'm gonna.
You said for Memorial Day weekend.
Yes, his own show is May 26th. He's doing the prospect. He's got the prospect series that he's beginning on May 26th.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he's trying to make some real moves in the sport.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, no, like I said, I give him credit for it. I know the series is going to be limited to whatever like local promoters he partners up with. It's not going to be like, it's like not going to be like Open Door or whatever. It's not like every promoter is going to be able to get dates on it. But yeah, it's something. He's got Ashton Silve, who is, I think he's either headlining the show or he's simply just on the show. But yeah, he's just trying to get his young guys going. So
Ashton Silve, the one that went off on Sean Porter this week.
I'd be lying if I said I paid a lot of attention to his career.
Did you see that? What he said to Sean Porter?
I did not.
I did not. I don't like something about what was said on the Puerto Rico broadcast about our sparring. It was teacher and student, and I was the teacher. Okay, young fella, calm down.
All right. Yep. We're making names off themselves, but anyway, see, that show is May 26th in Orlando. So my wife has, a lot of family down there, so we were going to be.
People keep saying it's Ryan Garcia, but Ryan Garcia still has a contract with Oscar, right?
Yeah, I have yet to hear that he's at the end of that contract. So, yeah. Although I will say Oscar was honest, but open about it. That look, everyone believed that Ryan Garcia should have taken that fight with Mercito Hesta. Going into the Tank fight, why he chose to go 9 months between. I'm not saying that it would have had any impact on the outcome, but it would have been in his best interest to at least take that interim fight. And Oscar actually is on the record saying that. So everyone at Golden Boy believed it at the time. That was a decision solely made by Ryan Garcia when he decided to forego that fight and go straight into the Tank fight. But I just found it interesting that Oscar would actually tell reporters that. But then again, I guess if you're looking for any reason to come up with an excuse for why he
signing Francis Ngannou
Yeah.
to a boxing contract.
Okay. Well, we know he's not signing Nate Diaz. So.
Yeah, Francis Ngannou to a boxing contract while he has his MMA with PFL.
Well, that'd be something, yeah. If Ngannou winds up fighting Tyson Fury, since Fury still needs an opponent.
Lord have mercy. You talking about none of the names sound positive? What were the possible name? I mean, you done fucked off the Usyk fight.
Yeah.
Fucked off the Ruiz fight. Now Zhang is getting a rematch with Joyce. You should have been trying to make Zhang before Joyce.
He was certainly in a better place when he was champ.
Bro, it was when him and AJ were champ. It was 10 times a better place.
Yeah, I
10
agree.
times a better place. This shit is just done fell off stupendously, and nobody is complaining about the shit.
Yep.
Anyway, and then you talking about Dubois and Usyk going to purse bid. They was talking about having that fight in fucking Poland. Once they said that, I knew the fight wouldn't happen.
Right. Yeah, I don't know
what's
what's
Poland.
Yeah, my sense is that Dubois' team is not being entirely open about how healthy they are, and they're just trying to buy.
Same sense, trying to get
they're
trying
to. Not even that. They're just trying to buy as much time as possible, and then eventually lead it into, okay, well, now we'll stand down and you go revisit talks with Tyson Fury. But that screws them.
Herkovich.
Well, he's the IBF mandatory.
So realistically, if this happens, we really not talking about a fight for him until what?
Yeah, probably. Unless he's just willing to sit it out and revisit. I don't know. You nailed it with the heavyweight division. It's just really at who cares status. Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, time for Raleigh to save boxing against Ismael Barroso.
But also, yeah. So the WBA finally made their decision. It actually came down to, I want to say the vote was decided, but like there was a split, and they were waiting on one more member of the committee to vote, and that was the deciding factor in whether or not the WBA belt would be at stake this weekend. He's for now downgraded to champion of recess. A lot of people were asking, well, why wouldn't you strip him? And then if you didn't strip him, why wouldn't he get the winner? That all has to be determined by the Nevada Commission is going to have a meeting on the 17th. What's that, Wednesday?
You said on the 17th?
I think the 17th, yeah. It's either the 17th or the 18th. But I know it's coming up this week. Anyway, so they're having a hearing. They're going to review all the facts. I know he's been compliant, at least with the commission. I don't know about with VADA. I don't know what the status was, whether he bothered to have the B sample tested. I mean, he knew it would come back positive, so I don't know why he would. So he's going to meet with the commission. They're going to decide whether or not he should be suspended or if they're going to buy his alibi as to why he tested positive. But that's why he hasn't been stripped and also why he hasn't been named to fight the winner. So the winner of tonight's fight, according to the WBA paperwork, will have 120 days to fight O'Hara Davies. I don't believe Davies will get next, or at least I don't believe Davies will fight the winner, nor do I believe any next title fight will take place in 120 days.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, he's in recess as champion, so we'll see what happens.
Right. So if the commission clears him, I don't understand why the WBA made this ruling. I don't know if they're doing it just to appease Davies because he already fought an eliminator, and yet they have another eliminator tonight, or semifinal eliminator, whatever. It's like they need to stop ordering these fights. But Puello, if the commission clears him, he has to factor back into that mix somehow. So I just found that WBA ruling to be for as long as they took. I just found it to be a little strange. How it turned out.
Yeah, these sanctioning awards ain't really the mark of efficiency or
not at all.
Common sense.
Yeah, the sense I got from that ruling, it was to try to get out of justifying why Rolly is fighting for the title tonight. They did kind of explain it. They said, well, Puello was already entering a voluntary title defense, and that's why Rolly was permitted to jump the line. Although that's kind of hypocritical to what they were going to rule during the commission, because they were going to order the mandatory title fight. The Rolly fight is happening only because Barroso's team was compliant. So that's how O'Hara Davies' team got screwed. I don't know if anybody even cares about this, but I'm just trying to provide as much context as to why we're actually getting this fight tonight for the title.
Okay. And Barroso is 40 years old. This man looks like he's about 100 years old. Jesus Christ.
I knew he was old. I haven't seen him fight in a while. His last fight was off TV on the card that Verona was supposed to fight Omar Figueroa when the Vignettes wound up fighting instead. So he was on the non-televised portion. So I haven't actually seen him fight in quite a while. But yeah, that dude is old.
The two main events this weekend ain't really much, but the undercard seemed to be pretty decent.
Yeah, a lot of people are jazzed about Kenneth Sims, his fight with Bakhtir Akhmedov, which is, as I mentioned, a WBA semifinal eliminator. That's on the Showtime on the card, and then on the ESPN co-feature is Jason Maloney and Vincent Astrolabio, which I think is the closest odds out of every single televised fight this weekend.
No, it's Akhmedov and Sims. It's one minus 115 and minus 1.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize it was that close. Well, okay.
Yeah.
All right, so Maloney Astrolabio is right behind it then.
Yep.
Which I'm glad, because if you have a vacant title fight and you have two good contenders, you want it to be as close to a 50-50 matchup as possible.
Who you got winning that fight?
Jason Maloney and Astrolabio. I think it's going to be competitive. I do believe third time will be a charm for Jason. I think he's going to find a way to edge out a decision.
Okay. Yeah, I'm kind of looking forward to that one too.
Yeah, he seems to have the chin to withstand. Astrolabio, I think he's got a puncher's chance in any fight. But I think Jason should be able to take his best shot. That's going to be key.
But Astrolabio is also signed to Sean Gibbons, right?
Yeah, he's with Sean Gibbons. Memo Herrera is a strength and conditioning coach. Like I say, he's looked really good his past 6 or so fights. Especially his last one when he beat Potapov by knockout. That was a very dominant performance to storm into the title picture.
Let me go change my bet. Yeah, Akhmedov is minus 120 and Kenneth Sims is minus 105.
Okay, that sounds about right.
Yeah. Also, Bartholomew Juarez. That's a pretty close fight. Rances and Omar Juarez.
It's too early in the show to get excited about a Rances Bartholomew fight.
Hey, maybe Juarez will get him out of there.
Yeah. So yeah, that seems like one of those fights where it's actually be a lot more exciting than we expected, or it's going to be as bad as it seems to be on paper. Those two don't really seem to have any middle ground.
Yeah. Bartholomew can stink it up. He will. Maybe Juarez will catch him with something. Yeah. So, but yeah, the Kenneth Sims fight, because this is a win by Sims will show he's serious at 140.
Yeah, and what I like too is that Sims made a point to gravitate towards PBC, and he wanted fights like this, and he's getting it. I mean, he had his first fight in December that was kind of last minute, and now he's getting a fight like this. So I'm glad that PBC is doing right by him, and I'm glad that Kenneth Sims is proving that he actually wants that smoke.
We also have Frank Martin announced that he's fighting on July 15th.
Yeah. So the date could be a little bit fluid, but I'm told that he could be fighting Artem Arturanian. I'm probably butchering the name, but I know Broadway Joel is not a big fan of his. Joke, but that seems to be one of many fights that are being budgeted for July 15th.
And that's on the Spence Thurman undercard.
No, incorrect. That will not be a pay-per-view date.
You see, Spence came out of hiding like the groundhog this week.
Yeah, he's had a few tweets.
If he's out talking, he's got something cooking.
Right. He is not fighting July 15th.
But he has something cooking, though, right?
He has something cooking, but he is not fighting July 15th.
He looked in shape. Arms was looking big.
Yeah, he looked a lot better than he did a month or so ago. I know he was at a Dallas Mavericks game. Was that a month ago? Maybe 2 months ago? But...
I don't remember.
Yeah.
His arms
couldn't have been
he looking cock diesel. He looking a good 180.
Yeah. He said 180. Wait, you talking about Spencer Thurman?
Oh, Thurman.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were talking about Spence. All right.
No, Thurman. I'm talking about Thurman coming out of hiding for the.
He did. Yeah, he had those angles. He looks like he's preparing for something. So, credit to Ray Jackson. He already spoken into the universe. He wants to see Thurman and Yordenis Ugas, and Ugas immediately responded, said he's down for the fight. I think that is a much better fight than Ugas fighting Mario Barrios, which is what the WBC ordered.
Okay, well.
So I would much rather see Thurman and Yordenis Ugas.
I agree with that. I agree with that. Hey, do you know what happened to the Kakashi Inoue fight yesterday? Why it was voided? My bet was voided.
The what fight?
Takashi Inoue?
No.
If somebody know, please DM me why my bet was voided for that fight. Also, the Casemiro fight, not the Casemiro fight, the Conseco fight. Conseco, that was also
he
voided.
Is fighting. Yeah, he is not. He's no longer fighting tonight. He is fighting June 10th. He had a visa issue, so he had to be pulled from the show. But they believe it'll be resolved in time. So the fight he was supposed to have tonight.
What about Haven Brady? That's you said he came in overweight.
Yeah, he is going to be. I'm fairly confident he's going to have to look for a new promoter. Top Rank seems like they are moving on from him. So he was supposed to fight tonight. His contracted weight was 131. I was told he was on course to make weight throughout the week, and then for whatever reason, Friday morning woke up somewhere around 140, maybe slightly lower, but he was way off the mark. Top Rank just canceled the fight. He was supposed to also, if he won tonight, he was going to fight on Jared Anderson's undercard in Toledo on July 1st. That is out, and I just don't see Top Rank sticking it out with him. This is now at least the second time he's blown weight. Way too early in his career for all this stuff.
Or maybe he gets thrown in at 140 with somebody decent to sink or swim.
Well, he already moved up from featherweight to 130. And I even said this. I know Jahai Tucker went through the same thing. He was very young, but he seemed settled in at 154. And he took a very dangerous fight while actually pulling out, the guy that's supposed to be Top Rank's, one of Top Rank's top prospects.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The same needs to happen to Brady at 140. Since he can't even make light. He came in over lightweight, right?
No, he was supposed to be at 130 tonight.
Okay.
Well, 131, excuse me.
And he came in at 138, right?
He didn't even come in. He woke up. He told them he was, his team told Top Rank he was like around 140 or so. And he was about 9 pounds off the contracted limit.
All right, well, put him in at 140 against Barboza.
Right, yeah.
Let's see. Shake it out.
Right.
Sink or swim.
I think they're just going to let him sink. Or they're going to set him adrift, I guess is the best way to put it.
I'll put him in a sink or swim fight. I mean, because some guys, they just, their teams might trying to get advantage to fighting at a certain weight when they just can't do it.
Yeah. Well, in the meantime, they had to pay D'Angelo Fuentes, who went through a whole training camp and who was prepared to fight tonight. So I don't know what his pay was, but whatever it is, that's money out of Top Rank's pocket, and they got nothing out of it. So, and now they probably owe him another fight. So.
Yep. Akhmadaliyov, not Akhmadaliyov, Janibek.
Yes.
Is that how you say his first name? Akhmadaliyov?
Alim Khanali.
Okay. Yeah. Versus Stephen Butler.
Yeah. So Janibek and Stephen Butler. Yes. So I had a good interview with Stephen Butler. His head seemed like it was in the right place.
His head gonna be in the right place for that right hand all fight.
Well, I mean, even Thursday's press conference, I saw a lot of throat lumps. Even like during that, I think they had like a 2-minute stare down. I was kind of jokingly tweeting that Janibek was staring us with soul, but it was not too far off from the mark. So yesterday at the weigh-in, Stephen Butler did not want to be bothered anymore. He just, I guess, wants to head straight into fight night. They had a brief stare down. He turned right away and walked off stage. Look, I'm not a body language guy, but this fight is a mismatch on paper, and I do believe it'll play out that way in the ring. And to Janibek's credit, he acknowledged that he absolutely did not like it. Look, none of us believe he actually is the boogeyman, but he acknowledged that, for whatever reputation he had, he did not live up to that in his last fight, and he made, some changes in his camp. He hired a new strength and conditioning coach. He came in. He's actually a career light. He was 159.2 at the weigh-in yesterday. He looked really good. Again, how you look on stage doesn't mean you're going to look good in the ring. But I like where his head is at, that he wants to return to that guy that, everybody wants to avoid, as opposed to him just being an afterthought in the division. So he wants to make a statement tonight, and I do believe he will.
Beating Butler ain't going to make no statement that you're being
avoided. I agree, but the fact that it's on TV, if anyone's watching, we all expected Dave Morrell to beat the crap out of Yamaguchi Falcao, and he did just that. So I expect something very similar. Not as early, but something similar tonight.
I mean, there's two ways you can do something. You can tie a guy's name to another guy, or you can call him the boogeyman.
Right. Well, and again, he even mentioned he wants to fight. He wants to fight Jamal Charlo. He wants to fight. He didn't use their names as leverage. He said, "I want to fight these guys. I can't look the way I did in my last fight and then call these guys out." He acknowledged that. So usually the playbook is, "I want to fight." And I did see one interview. He said he could beat Canelo, which I thought was a little silly. But
didn't Munguia supposedly could have fought him also, right?
Yes, Janabek, yeah, he was twice ordered to fight him, and he didn't even turn it down. Zanfer and Golden Boy just never responded to the order on either occasion.
Man, see, I don't even feel sorry for that dude no more.
No, well, Munguia is in a position where he has his own dates, so at least he's fighting someone relevant. You know, he's fighting Sergey Derevchenko next month on June 10th. They just had a media day on Thursday. It's above the 160 limit, correct? Yes.
Pack this dude up because he ain't trying to do nothing serious, man. Because you could have beat fucking Janabek, in my opinion.
Yeah. I agree. So I don't know. Maybe all roads are just going to lead to Jaime Munguia fighting Gennady Golovkin, regardless of what's at stake. Golovkin is at a point he just wants a big payday. I don't know how big of a payday a fight like that would be, and God forbid Zone puts that on pay-per-view. But both of them just seem to keep running parallel at this stage of their careers.
That is true. So what else we have? Big fight coming up next week.
Yes.
Haney versus Lomachenko.
A lot being made that Devin Haney does not look like a lightweight. He's in phenomenal shape. I'm sure he'll find a way to make weight. There's no way. Well, I'm not going to say there's no way, but I can't imagine he's going to be that irresponsible low weight next week.
No, but Devin Haney is a professional.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
Professional through and through. He will make the weight.
Yep. Yeah, but yeah, he's ripped and ready. And as Victor Conti, everyone's friend, has been posting, he has passed all his VADA tests so far. And I do not expect that to change. So Devin Haney is actually one of the most tested fighters in the sport. So for people who do wonder how he makes weight.
Yeah, I don't expect that to change either.
Yeah.
How are what are they looking at are their ticket sales moving pretty well? Or? I know Haney was complaining that Loma isn't doing anything to sell the fight, which he has been very quiet.
Right. What's funny is that Igis Klimas, Lomachenko's manager, was complaining that there was not a lot of promotion into Janabek's fight. It's like there's kind of the same theme here. It's like, you got to make your guys available. So he's expecting Top Rank. I get Top Rank as the promoter, and they're the ones who have to promote it, but there's only so much you could say about the fight. If the fighter's not available, it just becomes that less interesting. So Haney's back at the same position. Kambosos did the same thing in the rematch. So this is at least 2 fights in a row, if not 3, where Haney is absolutely carrying the promotion.
I mean, you could at least put out content.
Yeah.
I see like one Loma training video. You can at least put out some content at the very least.
Right. So I know ESPN, they did their blood, sweat, and tears. But again, Haney's already part of that. And he's still fulfilling all his media obligations as well. So.
And he put out his own content.
Yep.
That's what I'm saying. You could at least put out some content. That's the very least you could do to try to sell this fight. Unless Loma's just looking for whatever he's getting paid and not really looking to make no back end.
Yeah. So. Yeah, I will say Devin Haney. To me, he's a guy who absolutely gets it. I even another writer brought it up last year. The BWA has the Good Guy Award, and that it should be comparable to what the NFL does with their awards, and it should be fighter based. And I agreed, and I tried to nominate Devin Haney at least the past 2 years. He is as far as fighters go, he is among the most accommodating with his time. So he's a guy who absolutely gets it. He knows where he wants to be, and he goes above and beyond in terms of trying to market himself.
Who won that damn award?
Lee Groves won it this year. So.
Who is Lee Groves?
Oh, come on.
I'm serious.
He's a historian. He works at CompuBox. You're gonna have to look him up.
Oh man, don't nobody want to hear no goddamn writers jacking off other writers. That should be for the fighters, like you said.
I'm trying to get the BWA in that direction. It's just there is a very old guard there that it's up to crack.
I mean, they got enough awards where they reaching around and jacking off writers. I seen awards that came out last week, 2 weeks ago. Come on, man. That should be like the Oscars. All you're doing is just reaching around and jacking off other people in the industry. But moving on.
Yeah. You get me in trouble.
I don't want to get Jake in trouble. The vice president of the BWAA.
Yeah.
For those who don't know, trying to get that organization in line.
Raking leaves in a hurricane.
Yeah. Yes, it is. And tell them stop blocking people. God damn.
Tell
that man that to block people on his personal account. Stop blocking people on the writer's account. That's what his personal account is for.
I agree.
You can't be. Okay. And stop putting out fake Spence Crawford news.
Moving on.
All right, we're going to start taking questions. What else we got, Jake? We
can go straight to questions before we get any more trouble.
Anybody got questions on the YouTube portion or here in the chat, you can request to speak. Okay. Let me see what I got from YouTube. Nothing, just say smash like. All right, well, we have filibuster for a minute. So it seems like nobody has any questions. I guess they all spaced out from earlier today.
Yeah, I think everyone's mourning the Knicks loss last night, obviously.
I don't know. This has been a slow morning for me.
Yeah.
Without Matt in here to stir shit up.
Right.
Okay, somebody said, does he know who Crawford might be trying to fight besides Spence and on what network?
I have not heard any option for either guy. Like I said, the only other option I even heard for Spence was when, Thurman agreed to whatever terms were put out there. Beyond that, no, I have not heard any option for either guy. I've not heard any talks other than they are still in talks to fight each other.
Spence said, in an interview, Thurman said that he was training in December to go in February before that car accident happened. Did you see
Correct.
That?
Yep.
I know you stay pretty in touch with the Spence, with the Thurman side. What's up, Abe? You got something? Oh, Abe dropped out. He was probably coming up here complaining about his Knicks. Go ahead, Lewis.
Thank you, Lefty. Thanks, Jake. I just wanted to ask, apologies if you've already gone through it, but I was wondering, is it looking like Usyk and Dubois are going to head for purse bids? Could it happen in Poland? Could it happen in the UK? What's the situation with that?
We did touch on that. I'll do a brief recap. Talks are at a complete, not even at a standstill. I don't know if they're just completely dead. My sense is Frank Warren is trying to buy as much time as possible to make sure that Dubois is actually healthy by the time he does get back in the ring, as opposed to whatever deadline the WBA had in place. So it's up to the WBA. They have to be the grown-up in the room and order a purse bid. They have not done that yet.
No worries. Sorry, I missed it. Thanks, everyone.
Fine. Yeah, of course. You're good. Matt's not here, so we'll allow
it. Last time I had a mic issue and he verbally abused me, so thank you very much, Jake.
Matt is like that. So.
All right.
I was kind of waiting for Matt to jump in here and defend Donald Trump this week based on his rant last week. But...
I don't know. He's nowhere to be found. He must be asleep. Somebody wants to know, have you heard a plan in the works for unification between Janibek and Falco if both win?
Not really. I mean, obviously, it's ideal. If Top Rank has a hold of 2 belts, it's the only fight that makes sense for him, at least until Carlos Adames gets upgraded from interim to full titleist. Falcao still has to win, though. And I think people at Top Rank are even cognizant of that. He's not, look, the guy he's fighting is not great by any stretch, but it's Esquiva Falcao. There's no guarantee that he wins, especially in Germany.
You said if Adames gets upgraded to full champion.
Correct.
Do you expect that to happen?
Well, I'm saying Adames keeps, no, I don't, but Adames keeps calling him out. He knows he can't get that fight as long as he's an interim titleist. He would have to give up that belt to fight Janibek. It wouldn't be a unification bout. It won't be unification until the WBC declares that Jamal Charlo is no longer fit to fight at 160. They have not made that decision and don't seem to be in a hurry to.
Yeah, that question came from L Dub. My bad, boys. My bad. I was just looking at the question. I wasn't looking at the names.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's say if Maul doesn't have a fight scheduled by the time that this Adames versus J-Rock fight comes up. I mean,
the WBC is going to have to make a decision by then. So, again, we've heard we're going all the way back to Maul was supposed to fight last October. And then we've just seen one date after another just get, X'd off the calendar. He was supposed to headline Juneteenth. That is no longer in play. I've heard he could fight in July, but I don't believe that's going to happen. They're not going to get away with him fighting just some dunker. He has to fight someone relevant. He's been out of the ring 2 years by the time he gets back in the ring. So, again, we talk about these sanctioned bodies. They're the ones that have to be the grown-up in the room. PBC has Adames. They have Charlo. That's an easy fight to make. They've not made it. Adames is fighting Julian Williams instead. So, WBC has a decision to make.
Yeah, something got to shake.
Yeah. And it's not disrespectful to say, look, he's been out 2 years. There's grounds to say, look, thank you for your service. You've held the belt for this long. Name him whatever, champion emeritus or whatever you got to do. If he wants to go fight at 168, wants to fight Demetrius Andrade, go do that. There's nothing wrong with, removing his title status at this point. We get that he's going through a lot. Everyone has sympathy for him. I applaud him for going public with all the stuff he has going on, outside the ring. But that, you can't hold the title ransom either.
Maybe you could do a fake retirement like Fury and get champion in recess.
Of course, yeah. But again, Adames, he hadn't fought since October. He's now fighting in June, so it's not like he's carrying the division either. So.
True that. What up, though, Abe?
Yo, what's going on, fellas? Y'all hear me?
What's up, Abe?
Hey, Jake, man, how you doing? Lefty, I don't appreciate the Nick slander. But are we? And I'm not being sarcastic when I ask this. Are we really gonna get Zoo and Jamel Charlo this year? It kind of feels like we aren't.
I do believe we will. I like the approach that Zoo is taking. The moment he found out that the fight wasn't happening in July, his marching orders were, go get me another fight. So I like that, we talk all the time about, guys like Bakram and other fighters just holding, their mandatory spot ransom. Zoo is out there fighting, and to his credit, Sebastian Fundora took risks, while he was in a position where he could have just kind of coasted as well. So I appreciate the fact that these guys are staying active. So Zoo is giving himself the absolute best chance to take that fight. So I just think it's a matter of Mel was not going to be healthy as early as everyone expected, which is why we're getting Tim Zoo's fight in June. I do believe they will fight.
Yeah, I just I don't know. It feels like we're gonna get like the fight after the injury type scenario that we've seen in the past. I don't want to believe that, but as we continue to go down the calendar and we get later and later, it just kind of feels that way.
Well, ironically, and I'm not a big historical parallel type of guy, but Tim's father, Costa Zoo, went through this where no one believed he was going to fight Sean Bay Mitchell. He came out of injury. It was like almost a 2-year-long layoff and just absolutely tore through him. So, Mel is that good to where, once he's healthy, why not fight someone like Tim Zoo? I believe we're going to get it. I don't think he's going to fight like Bakram next, who was one of his other mandatories. Because if that was the plan, why not get Bakram, out there? He has no profile whatsoever. Tim Zoo does. The WBO clearly loves Zoo. I think Showtime likes the attention that, that they're getting from a Charlo Zoo fight.
Yeah. And the Zoo beats Ocampo. That's another pretty decent win. Stay busy, decent win. Wish you would have fought Bakram, whatever the fuck his name is. Bakram, something like that. Oh,
well, yeah, Zoo wanted that fight.
Yeah. What is the possibility that when they do fight, it could happen in Australia? Because Zoo seems to pack that place out pretty decent.
That would be up to Charlo. I don't know.
Okay.
They'd have to pay Charlo a lot of money.
It's like 1%, right?
Maybe a little bit. Like I said, if you're giving Charlo an 8-figure payday to go over there, I don't see him turning that down. But
so the Ocampo fight that will be shown in primetime US.
Showtime has not announced yet that they will show that fight. Based on what's supposed to be happening June 17th, I would not be surprised if Showtime picks up that card. I don't know how much of it they will. I know when Zoo fought Harrison, they only had one fight. There is Rais Salim and Sam Goodman, which I think is a fight that warrants televised coverage. But for now, there is no U.S. coverage.
What you mean was supposed to be happening June 17th?
Well, Showtime was supposed to have a June 17th date, which, as we've said many times on the show, which originally began with Charlo and Boots on the same show. Charlo's no longer on it. I know Boots keeps teasing that he's fighting in June and, locked in, all this, but I haven't heard any fights mentioned for June. I hear a lot of fights mentioned for July. I've not heard anything mentioned for June other than the ones that are already on the June 24th card. So being that Showtime, if they do not have a U.S. fight night for June 17th, it would make perfect sense for them to pick up the Tim Tszyu, Carlos Ocampo fight.
True that.
All right. And for those who are confused by Troll Clinton's tweet, Carlos Ocampo is not Irish. So let's just get that out.
Yeah, he just lost to
Sebastian Fundora.
Huh? Yeah. Fundora. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Broke his losing streak. His previous loss was, of course, Errol Spence. Moved up to 154. Fundora did not look great against him. So it's not a complete walkover for Tszyu. It's probably a step backwards from Tony Harrison, but not too far off, considering where Harrison is at in his career. So it's a respectable, stay busy fight.
Yeah, that is true.
And if you're gonna fight every 3 months, I'm absolutely fine. Even if it was a mismatch, you're gonna fight every 3 months. I'm perfectly fine with fights like this.
Yep.
We've had people asking about. We've had people asking about Gustavo Lemos, who's one of Devin Haney's mandatories. That's a perfect example of guys just holding that position hostage. Everyone was just kind of waiting for the champion to give up a belt to fight for that. So I'd rather see guys like Tszyu and Fundora, go the route that they've been going.
That's right. If you can't,
even obviously, Joe Joyce, it backfired, but now he wants to run it back with Big Bang Zhang. So. But, I respect that more than, guys like Bakaram who just take him. I mean, it's smart business, but, nobody's going to really care by the time if he fights Jermell Charlo.
That's true. All right. Now, what did you think about last week's Canelo fight?
It just kind of was what it was. A lot of people getting mileage out of the, whole give it a go angle. That's really about all you can say about it. I know there's some pay-per-view numbers out there. You guys can choose to believe them if you want to. I did not do great by any stretch.
Bro, Rick Glazer. No, nobody believe that clown.
Right.
Okay.
So it did better than his numbers, but it certainly did not do a number where they're going to put out a press release over it.
Yeah.
So I don't have a firm number. I heard somewhere around 350. It could be a little better. It could be a little less. But
you heard anything, Abe?
Nah, and they're not gonna tell me.
You banned from the zone WeChat Slack messages. But we got so what do you think is next for Canelo in your opinion, Jake?
Sorry. Again, the theme is the sanctioning bodies have to do their job. Canelo Benavidez is the only fight that makes sense. Doesn't mean we're going to get it. But Canelo fought. It doesn't seem like we're going to get Bivol next unless they're both just playing games and they already have a deal in place, which I don't get the sense is the case. If that's not the case, it's up to Benavidez' team to bang on the WBC's door. It's up to Morrell's team to bang on the WBA's door because the sanctioning bodies are not going to do it on their own. The WBC especially will never again do that with Canelo. They already took a belt from him once. That will never, ever happen again.
Never, ever again.
Never.
Well, there's always Berlanga.
Yeah.
How about this, Jake? Let me sell you on this, Jake. Canelo versus Berlanga at Yankee Stadium in October, because the Yankees won't be using it that time anyway. So
I don't know. I thought it was kind of cold. Look, I'm not discounting the fact that we're going to get a Canelo Berlanga fight at some point. But,
yeah, but I mean, do you understand how far down you got to reach to get Berlanga to get a win?
Again, it's going to be up to the sanctioning bodies. I just don't see how it can be allowed, but it's up. We can't rely on sanctioning bodies to do the right thing.
And I'm talking about to keep Berlanga undefeated to even get in position for a Canelo fight.
You would have to get, you'd have to get him there in a hurry. I will say Berlanga is back to his original trainer. He's ditched all the bad elements from his, past camps. anyone who would allow him to lose focus. In this can't, I know we've heard it all before with a lot of other fighters, but he is back to his roots, so he knows he can't fuck up
Yeah, like I said,
he
sound like AB.
See it to believe it.
He's still adjusting the frame.
I know. I didn't want to create that storyline, but I've seen footage of some training sessions he's had where even sessions where he tries to take a break, his trainers just won't allow it. It's like you do a 3-minute drill and you try to find a way to skip 5 seconds. They're not letting him off the hook in this fight. So granted, I know he's fighting Jason Quigley. He should tear through him as easily as Demetrius Andrade did, but they know what's at stake here.
Man, I have zero faith in this guy.
I agree.
He might lose. It would not surprise me if he lost to Jay. He should beat him, but if he lost, it would not surprise me. This guy is not good at all.
There is a definite ceiling, and it's possibly we've seen it already.
Yes.
Yeah. Maybe we saw it in the Demond Nicholson fight, which, I thought he caught a lot of slack for letting that one go. The full 8-round distance. He did drop him 4 times. I thought that was the last time he actually looked good in the fight, though.
I think Canelo's fighting Jamal Charlo next.
Okay, so would any of us have a problem if that was the next fight?
Ooh.
That's up again. I mean, if Charlo is getting that fight, I'm not saying he is, but if he were to get that fight, now you have the same people who run his career also run Benavidez and Morrell, 2 guys who should get that fight. So it's up to that side to plead the case for the guys who deserve it.
But I'm saying, if you're Canelo and you have your options are Bivol, Benavidez, and Charlo, you fight Charlo, and you have,
of course,
Benavidez take another fight, and then you fight him in May.
Right. So again, that's what I'm asking. If we say hypothetically we get Canelo and Jamal Charlo, would anyone on here have a problem with that fight? If that was his next fight.
I don't know. Anybody want to speak? I would.
Based on who would be involved in making that fight happen, I personally would not have a problem with that. I know people could say, well, Canelo's cherry picking or whatever, but Jamal is the one that's allowing him to quote unquote cherry pick in that situation.
True.
Again, I to me the only fight that makes sense is Canelo and Benavidez. That was the fight after Benavidez's win. His name was red hot. Canelo has cooled off.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. What else we got? Anybody got any questions? Y'all are dead as fuck this morning.
Yeah, man.
I bet if we start talking about Spence versus Bud, they'll start talking.
Yeah, I got a question for Jake.
Yes, sir.
Is he going to be on one of the Puerto Rican floats on the day after the Garden fight on the June?
I seriously doubt that. That would be that would just contradict everything I said about all focus being on that. So taking a break from camp to participate. Obviously, I know he would want to, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe we'll get Josh Taylor on a float instead.
No, I'm saying you.
Oh well, I thought you meant Belanga. I'm sorry. Well,
no, you.
I will actually be in Las Vegas. No, I will not be at the Puerto Rican Day Parade. I'm sorry. I am not quite at the point yet where they would want me on a float.
Oh yeah, I forgot the other news. Andy Cruz.
Yes.
Big signing for Matchroom.
Yeah.
Andy Cruz.
Huge. Yeah.
He's training with Bazzi Ennis.
Okay.
This ain't big news.
No, I thought for some reason I thought he was with Pedro Diaz. I don't know why. I know he was in the Ennis camp. I don't know why I thought he was training with Pedro Diaz, but that should help him really change his amateur style. So he's got a long way to go. Obviously, pulling out Keyshawn Davis. And, I even said, look, for Matchroom, they already have 2 guys now that want to use their amateur accolades to kind of downgrade Keyshawn. So then for that, why not just make Andy Cruz and Mark Castro?
Yeah, I got a question, real quick, just a quick question. I'm a super casual, but real talk. What is the likely time frame that we will see either one of these 3 guys in the ring together? It could be any matchup Tank versus Haney, Tank versus Stevenson, or Stevenson versus Haney, or whatever, vice versa. Kind of like what's like the realistic time frame for me as a casual to kind of expect that to have real traction for that fight to happen? Would it be like end of this year, next year? You know, I don't know. I'm just asking.
No, that's a very fair question. I appreciate it, Percy. Once upon a time, I would have said that the one fight we should expect out of that would be Stevenson and Devin Haney. I'm not sure I'm as confident. I always believed that if we ever got that fight, it would be at 140. I think I do believe Tank absolutely wants to fight either one of those guys. I think Tank could still fight Devin Haney, even if Haney decides he can't fight at 135 no more. It wouldn't matter because, you know, Tank would be upgraded to full champ, but they could do the same thing that Tank just did with Ryan Garcia. You know, it could be above the weight, whatever. I don't know. I'm kind of optimistic we do see Tank and Devin Haney at some point. I don't believe we'll ever see Tank and Shakur.
I hate to hear that, but I appreciate the feedback.
There's too many politics involved as to why I don't believe we'll ever see Tank.
I think we'll see. Okay, if Devin Haney wins, I think we'll see Tank and Devin Haney for sure. Excuse me. If Loma wins, we're gonna see Loma and Stevenson.
Yeah.
And then that pay-per-view will probably depends on if we'll see Tank and the winner of that too, which most likely will be Shakur Stevenson.
My only problem with Tank and Shakur is really any fight involving PBC and James Prince. I'm not saying those fights can't happen. I just can't think of any that have actually happened.
Who does Prince have? Is Keyshawn? Keyshawn ain't with Prince, is it?
No.
So Shakur Ward was Big Baby, but they ain't got nobody for Big Baby.
I'm saying you're gonna have to reach down pretty far if you can.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You just brought up a good point, which I never thought of.
That's the only reason why I don't believe we'll see that.
Okay,
the absolute only reason.
Yep. Cool. And then my last one, because I know this is more realistic, because they both on the same side of the street, the same company. Tell me we're gonna get a Benavidez Morrell fight at least. Tell me.
It would have to make sense if they don't force the WBC and WBA's hand for either one of them to fight Canelo next, which should be the case. But if they're not fighting each other, then they should absolutely be banging down Mauricio Suleiman's door and Gilberto Mendoza's door to get that fight next.
Yeah,
so
I just want to see them fight because
yeah.
I think it'll be just like it'll just be a classic. I think just because of the way they fight, it'll just be like crazy.
I agree.
Depends on what Canelo does next.
Right. So yeah, I don't think anyone's going to make a move until Canelo absolutely rules out Bivol, or if he just flat out picks another opponent, which I don't.
I mean, he is the man with 4 belts.
Right. So look, it could be a situation where Benavidez is moving in silence for all we know. I mean, shit, the guy's posing with Oscar De La Hoya. So. Yeah. Maybe he has moves we have not going on, and that's the way it should be. I mean, these aren't negotiations that should be out there in the public. So. But no, Percy, I'm with you. Like I said, if the other one of them fighting Canelo, that's a fight that absolutely makes sense, especially with the traction that they've had this year alone.
Yeah, I think to be honest with you, in a wild way, it's like I know Canelo is 60 fights in, so he's showing obviously some wear and tear. But I also think he's like kind of playing chicken a little bit. Like it's like to me, I just feel like I've seen him fight way better than this, than he has his last couple fights, and I think he's just kind of like playing coy just to get these guys to get in the ring with him, and he's just gonna beat that ass. Like I think he would beat Benavidez or Morrell if he's at the top of his game.
I think a lot of people share that viewpoint. I agree. I think of all those fights, Benavidez would likely be the most competitive.
For the record, Percy Mack, you are black, right?
Yeah, man. I just I got
people swear up and down that everybody black say that Benavidez is gonna beat fucking Canelo, and I know a lot of folks that's picking Canelo over Benavidez.
Look, I like Benavidez. Like I do like him. I just think that the way that he fights sometimes he throws so reckless. It's like if you do that against Canelo, you might catch a short hook back, and that could be it. Like how he got your boy Amir Khan a couple years ago. Going wild. Canelo catch you with that short punch, you out of there. If he still, like I said, if he still got that power that he did have.
I agree. I think Benavidez beat him.
I think of everyone, Benavidez has the best shot at beating Canelo. I'm not saying he beats him outright, but that's where I am. I do. I appreciate those are excellent questions, though, personally. Thank you.
No problem. Thank you for the feedback. Yeah, man. Like I said, bro, I'm just super casual, but I do follow you guys. Like I do love the sport, but like the business side, I don't really know much about. So that's why I come in here and listen to what you guys talk about. But I just like to see I understand the sport, but I'm a fan, so I want to see the fight.
Yep.
You know what I mean? I just want to see.
Exactly.
Are you watching Loma versus Haney next week?
I'm gonna watch. I'm definitely gonna watch it.
it.
I'm from Baltimore. I'm a Tank fan, right? But I do like Bill and Devin Haney. Got a lot of respect for Loma.
Are you purchasing it?
Yeah, I purchase. I buy something. I'm not gonna fire stick. Fire stick this one because I definitely am excited to see it because I mean, like I said, if Dev wins it, then that sets up, like you said, that mega fight for him and Tank for people to put that heat on him, and hopefully it doesn't do like a Crawford Spence thing. Because I think they will fight. I think that what people saw with the Garcia and Tank fight, like you guys get in the ring and make it happen, win or lose. There's a lot of money to be made, a lot of respect to be earned. That opens up more doors for you in the future to make more money. Doing what you do. So why not?
True.
It's time. It's time for the sport is in that spot. It's kind of like basketball, right? You got like LeBron and KD and those guys aging out, but you got a new crop of young guys coming in. So it's like it's always money to be made in boxing. So if you're a young guy, 23 to 30, it's time to jump in there and get your coins. Make your move.
I'll tell you this: if we could get any combination of Spence Crawford, Canelo Benavidez, Wilder, AJ, Usyk, Fury. If we get any of those fights, this would be one of the best years in boxing ever. Started off good, but we need to get those fights.
Yeah, I thought last year was good too. So it's like keep carrying the momentum. Like I like the fights that we had last year. In 2022, and 2023 hasn't disappointed at all either. Like what's the guy out in Australia?
Tim Tszyu
fights one of the Charles. Him. Yeah, I want to see him getting there with one of the Charlos or Canelo. I don't know if they're in the same weight, but something like that.
All right, what's up, Brian?
Hey. Oh.
Nah, they ain't gonna lie. I'm gonna come back up. I forgot my damn question that fast. My bad.
Hey, Lefty, I got a question. You got a second?
Good.
Go ahead,
Lefty. Yeah, you there?
Yeah.
Hey, yeah. So, two comments real quick and a question for Jake. If I'm Canelo, I take the Jamal Charlo fight because he hasn't been in the ring over 2 years by the time they'd fight. And I'd probably take that fight if anything. Unfortunately, with the situation with Tank and Stevenson, and I have to, side with Jake as well because of the politics. But man, that would be a huge, huge fight in the Northeast come 2024. But my question is for Jake, do you see Tank fighting this year, or is it done for 2023 and we see him first quarter 24?
I think he will fight, especially with, again, I'm not minimizing any punishment that anyone gets, in a court of law. I know he's not doing jail time, but he is doing house arrest. So it's not like he could do a full-blown training camp, while he's at Coach Calvin's house. But yes, I do believe he will fight. If nothing else, he created his own budget to create a fight, for later this year. Even if it wasn't in the Showtime budget, that event made enough money to where, yes, he can fight anytime he wants. I do believe Tank will have 3 fights in 2023.
Do you believe that third fight will be the Pitbull Cruz? Because his coach keeps talking about that.
I remember my question. I got 2 questions. The first question, I'm gonna go ahead and get it out the way. What's up with Gary Allen Russell posting at 143? Is he trying to come back at 135 or what? What is he trying to do?
A lot of people have asked me that. I know Hector Garcia and Lamont Roach, they were ordered to fight. I know they reached an agreement, but I'm not necessarily saying that they're going to fight. I still believe we're going to get a Hector Garcia Gary Russell fight, which was the original plan. But that's if Gary can get to 130, which I don't believe he can.
Okay. And the second question is Shakur Stevens. If Loma do win or Haney do win, how long do you see Shakur staying at 135? Like, say he beat Luma for them belts, and if he don't get the Tank fight, what else is left for him at 135?
Are you asking beyond fighting the winner or beyond?
Right, beyond fighting the winner.
Oh, it would depend on the opportunity. So if he wins a belt at 135, say hypothetically, Haney wins a belt at 140, then he can go up and fight, one of those. I don't know if Josh Taylor is going to be at 140 by that time. There's nothing that really awaits him at 147 yet. So if Josh Taylor beats Teofimo Lopez and can still make 140, that's a big fight for Shakur as well.
So you, in your opinion, you don't see Shakur staying at 135 too long?
No, I'm not saying I don't see him staying there. It's someone like Shakur. It's going to depend on the opportunity. If he can make a lot more money to move up, he'll move up. I don't think he has to move up out of necessity.
All right, makes sense. Appreciate it.
Got it.
Okay. Let me get back to YouTube because they had a question on there. Somebody said Coda. I don't know if he was joking or what, but he said, "What's next for John Ryder?" Jake, you don't even want to take that question, do you? Coda, you see what you did? Testing, 1, 2, 3.
Oh, my bad. I'm sorry. I had my mic off the whole time. But look, we joke about the whole give it a go angle, but he's gotten a lot of great press out of that fight. So why wouldn't you want to have him in a relevant fight coming out next? He's not going to fight Mike Guy in a rematch. So.
John Ryder versus Caleb Plant. How you like that?
I don't mind the matchup. Are you asking if I believe something like that will happen? Okay. So I will say if Canelo decides to pick an opponent this year and they have enough faith in Berlanga, that's not a terrible fight.
Who, Ryder and Berlanga? Ryder would beat Berlanga. You know what I'd be setting up? Ryder versus Diego Pacheco. Yeah.
Pacheco?
Not Ryder. Yeah, Ryder versus Pacheco. I think that would be a good fight to elevate Pacheco.
Diego Pacheco, yeah, I agree.
They need to hire me because he seems to be the real deal. Yeah, they need to hire me. And then in case you don't get the Canelo fight, then you could always be setting up Pacheco versus Berlanga, which could end up being a good fight. You agree?
I agree. I'd see Pacheco Ryder happening more so than
no. Pacheco. I'm talking about after he beats Ryder.
Then Berlanga fighting Diego Pacheco. One of them is going to fight Canelo. Then
I'm saying if he doesn't get Canelo, let's say Canelo gets tied up for 2 more fights.
Well, to your point, if Berlanga's still undefeated by then why would he take a risk? Right, you're the one who said you don't see Berlanga staying undefeated long enough to get to it.
I think the Pacheco win over Berlanga. I think Pacheco has a higher upside than Berlanga.
You'd have to turn Pacheco into a pretty big star. So look, I'm huge on Diego Pacheco. I joked with him the last time I spoke to him that he's with the right promoter because Matchroom is so high on all these UK guys. He can just tear through that stable and become a star, just fighting all those guys. But he's not at that star level yet to where Berlanga is going to fight someone like him if he still believes he can fight. And he obviously signed with Matchroom to get a Canelo fight.
Yeah. Jacob, what's good?
What's up, fellas? Hey, Jake, got a question for you.
Hey,
one of my favorite fighters, went from being super active to I'm not sure what quite's going on with him. What's up with the Cowboy Navarrete?
So he was, let's see, Valdez is fighting next week. I still believe we'll get that fight later this year.
And what about O'Shaquie Foster? He came out with a little short clip saying he's a free agent. Any news on where he might be potentially headed?
I don't have a firm update on who he will sign with, but the fact that he's not stuck with Disrupt is pretty big news.
Great. So that's all I got. Right on, fellas.
And an update on that, I know he's not as high on the radar, but Rocky Hernandez had a very biting post about, how Probellum had him trapped in this horrible deal. He is out of his deal. He is no longer tied to Disrupt Promotion, so he can sign with whoever he wants. He's a 130-pound contender. For those that don't know who he is.
When he came out with that news, everything got quiet.
Yeah.
It was all Cordina, Oh, Shockey Foster. Then he said I'm a free agent, and everybody just got quiet.
Right.
And these boxing people are some clowns. Go ahead, A-Side.
Hey, what's going on, Jake?
Hey, what's up? I said.
Chilling.
What's going on?
Just wondering, do you know? And I don't know if you talked about it, I came late, but do you know the contract situation with AB and Don King? And do you think that Don King will be able to deliver Adrian Broner a big fight after this Hutchinson fight?
No to the latter. I don't want to misspeak. I don't. I know it's a multi-fight deal. I don't know. I can't say for sure if it's like a 3-fight deal. That's in my head, but I don't want to put that out there and find out that it's wrong. It's more than one fight. No, I don't believe Don King is going to deliver AB a big fight. I think AB is going to deliver AB a big fight.
So what do you think? Like, was the goal? I mean, not obviously the goal is to fight in but what do you think is do you think he was just on his last leg, so he signed with Don King, or like, what you think is the reason to go that route?
There might have been a little bit of desperation because he thought for sure he was fighting in February, and he had no reason not to think that up. You know, that was just a bizarre situation to have that many opponents in a row drop out for the same show.
Yeah.
I know Kevin Cunningham has a long-time relationship with Don King. He's had several fighters that fought King, including Devin Alexander, Corey Spinks. So maybe it was just a matter of convenience, you know, just to get AB back in the ring.
Appreciate that, Jake.
Yeah. So obviously, you know, I don't know. I still don't know what to make of that. So at least they both showed up to the press conference earlier this week.
That's true. You got anything else?
No. Like I said, you know, I guess, you know, there's quite a bit going on, but pretty much touched.
Oh, when are we expecting to get that Matias announcement?
That is well on the way.
So it's locked in.
Well on the way. All signs are positive that he will be signing with Matchroom.
So it's locked.
Unless that completely goes south.
Sure.
Yeah. Again, I don't gamble, but if I had to put odds on it, I'd say at least 80-20 that he is signing with Matchroom.
Yes, please do not gamble, because it's bad for your health, especially when you need Jimmy to score 25 and he scores 24. You know, very bad for you.
Yeah. Well, I will post something later, but I'm actually 3 years debt free, so that's debtors anonymous is the thing. So yeah, I was in a very, very deep hole for a long time, and I find myself out. So I'm 3 years free of all that. So that's the whole reason why I don't.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Yes.
So you'll never do the betting show with me.
I'll do it. I won't place any bets.
Okay. Speaking of the betting show, this week I have Rolly KO, Akhmadaliyah, Janabek KO. Upset is Juarez and also Akhmadov over Sims. There you go. By knockout.
Is Juarez not favored?
No, Juarez is the upset. Is the underdog. Yep. He's plus 130. Oh, okay. Yeah, it's not much of an underdog. Yeah, he's plus 130. I don't think they're gonna stink it out. All right.
It's evenly matched enough to it. Yeah. Hopefully, yeah. We get a good fight.
Y'all got anything else? Any other questions, comments, concerns, complaints? At 1 o'clock in 55 minutes, I will be going live on YouTube with Adrian Delgado. We'll be doing a breakdown for Lomachenko versus Haney. So make sure y'all join us 1 o'clock on the Chicken Talk space. Go ahead, ASAP.
Hey, you just said any last comments. So if anybody been following the platform, ASAP Boxing Talk on YouTube, I've been dropping Ray Ford videos all week. I also did a interview with Jesus Ramos the last week, so I'll be dropping clips from that this upcoming week. Hey man, just tune in, man. We've been on fire with the interviews, and I got some more things that I'm trying to plan in store. Next week, not this week coming, but the week after that, I'm looking at doing an interview with Mark Too Sharp Johnson. So just, you know, be on the lookout for that, for those that, you know, for the old school boxing heads.
There you go, A-Side Boxing Channel. Yeah, and make sure you check us out. Anything you want to leave us with, Jake? You want to leave us with some positive words for us?
Well, yeah, no, A-Side mentioned, I touched on this last week, but that was a very good interview with Ray Ford. Ray Ford is a young fighter, another one. doesn't want to just rely on, being a prospect, fighting tune-ups or whatever. He wants to fight everybody. I know he's gonna pay a lot of attention to the Mauricio Lara Lee Wood rematch. I think he's gonna be ringside for it. He wants the winner of that. I know he's not in line to fight the winner, but if the winner somehow gives up the belt to fight like Josh Warrington instead, Ray Ford absolutely wants to fight Klomatov, who is the mandatory challenger at featherweight. So Ray Ford is the guy he wants to fight.
That's his next fight, Jake.
He wants to fight Bigfoot. Yeah, he wants all those
The Klomatov guy, that's his next fight.
Yeah, so Klomatov, like I said, he's mandated to fight for the belt, and Ray Ford's team pushed for at least to fight for like a final eliminator or whatever the WBA can arrange for it. So I give him all the credit in the world because he's in a position where he could just kind of coast and wait, go a safer route to fight for a title. He wants the most dangerous route to get there. So, and for a guy who looked the way he did against, I'm drawing a blank here, Vasquez, last year, there was a lot of people who thought, he should have lost that fight that he won. He's taken a lot of tough fights since then. So, Ray Ford is, if you haven't paid attention to him yet, he is absolutely someone to watch.
Oh yeah, I want to make an announcement. Chicken Talk glasses are back in stock. So if y'all are interested, hit me up. You remember we gave out the glasses as a parting gift at the Spence versus Ugas fight. So hit me up, DM me, get your address. Nobody from outside the U.S. If y'all are outside the U.S., then I'm gonna stick you with all the shipping. Okay. So yeah, make sure y'all hit me up if y'all want a glass. Also, you want to leave us with some positive words for Spence Crawford, Jake?
I get talks aren't dead, so that's as positive as I could be. I've not heard a viable option for either of them.
Talks aren't dead. No.
Talks are not dead. They're, if there's a midway point, I'd say, I'm not going to say 55 that low, but they're in that direction. They're on the right side of, the positive negative barrier.
It's positive information. I want to leave y'all also. You can hit me up for the Chicken Talk meetup the weekend of July 22nd in Cincinnati for the Cincinnati Music Fest. Since we won't be getting a fight, Snoop Dogg is headlining the Saturday show. You have Midnight Star, the Friday show. You also got Al Green. You got Thursday. Did you see the Thursday lineup, Jake? You might want to come to this.
I'm actually off that week. So I'm off that week too.
You might want to come to this. The Friday lineup is a salute to hip hop. Slick Rick, Dougie Fresh, Rakim, Big Daddy Kane. The Thursday, not Friday. I'm sorry.
I will be in this. That's Thursday.
Thursday, July 20th.
That's Thursday.
Slick Rick, Dougie Fresh, Rakim, Big Daddy Kane. Friday, Al Green, Jill Scott, Jodeci, Midnight Star, Gerald Albright. Saturday, Snoop, Babyface, P-Funk Connection, Avery Sunshine, and Norman Brown. Great lineup.
Yeah.
And you know what? It's actually signed. If you buy your tickets for this, you won't get played. You can book your hotel, buy your tickets, and it's all ready to go.
Yeah. Where in Cincinnati is that?
The Cincinnati Music Festival, July 20th, 21st, 26th.
No, where?
You said where? Oh, where the Browns play? Paul Brown? Brown Stadium? That's what it's called? Yeah, it's where the Browns play. So, anybody interested in that, if you don't get this announcement, make sure y'all hit me up. That's what we just going to go ahead and do. Tired of playing with these niggas. All right. Y'all have a good one. Take it easy.
All right. Thanks, guys. Appreciate everyone.